And so that's that play, and your play. That is their first half. They don't get the attention that they might get if they were in the fourth quarter, but they're pivotal plays.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, of course I'm biased because I was a ball carrier, but in my opinion, I think I got the first down, and I'm pretty confident. But there were a couple people who said the same on the sideline to me, so.
Just something you hate doing on your side. Yesterday, Josh Proctor said the three toughest receivers that he's had trouble with in practice were Jackson, Terry, and C.J. Saunders. Is that believable to you?
Yes. Yeah, I think they have I can see the qualities that make them tough to guard. Yes.
Do you put yourself in that category? You're allowed to be I'm not.
I don't necessarily know because I've never guarded myself.
And then you and Proc, the only two people who have seen it, this entire wide receiver.
Yeah.
You are one of the leaders of this entire run because of how long you've been here and the things that you've seen. To be in a category of that leadership with Terry and Harris and those guys that you guys, I'm sure, looked up to when you were just walking. What does that mean when I say, hey, the leaders of this run have been not the Marvins and the Jacksons, but the Chris's and the Terrys? What does that mean to you to be in that kind of leadership category?
It's an honor. I definitely think that, that's a surreal thing to say, to even put my name amongst them. I play with them and they're my brothers. Still, when we see each other, it's love, and it's good chops, good conversations. We have our laughs and everything, and so to see just the excellence that the room has continued to keep up, I think that is a testament to Coach Hart, a testament to Coach Day, and it's just an honor. And so I learned from them that you pour into people, and the way you pour into people is the way that the next generation is going to be, and it's the level of excellence that the next generation is going to have. So my goal is just to do that, whether it's through, teaching them a play or just loving on them and showing them, the love of Christ. Either one of those, I think that, those two things go hand to hand, really, when you want an excellent culture in the room. And so I've tried to do that.
Three best, again, you've been here for the whole thing, three best practice receivers and the three best game receivers that have come through since you've been here.
Practice receivers. Three best practice receivers, I would say Garrett was crazy. He do some crazy stuff in practice. Max done some crazy stuff in practice. And of course Marvin's done some crazy stuff in practice too. And I think that game receivers, probably Marvin, Garrett, probably Jackson Rose Bowl was, you can't beat the top of Jackson Rose Bowl.
Chris barely missing that cut.
Yes, of course. Of course, that's my dog. And so, especially game receivers and the accolades that he has. I think he holds the most touchdowns as a receiver, as a Ohio State receiver. So you can't knock him for scoring the most touchdowns.
You've gone through a lot of quarterbacks here that have made their first start. How is Devin compared to these other quarterbacks that you've seen go through their first start in terms of his preparation for the game?
I think that you see Devin prepare as a pro, and it's my first time having a quarterback change in the middle of the season. But I think that one thing that I've noticed is the fact that when you take over the rungs of another quarterback, you can't emulate that quarterback. You find yourself when you find yourself trying to emulate him or trying to impersonate him, you find yourself not playing in your own right and what got you to Ohio State. I think Devin's done a great job of making the position his own in a quick manner. And because he's done that so quickly, I think you've seen him take strides day in and day out. And so you just acknowledge the growth that he's had from the first practice at the Woody to now. He looks like a completely different player, and I think that comes with confidence. It comes with the leadership that he was already showing, even as a second-string quarterback. And so I'm excited to see what he does on Friday.
How much difference do you think it made that decision was made early in this process, and we knew right away from basically right after the Michigan game that he was going to be the guy?
I think that it was good It was good from the standpoint of we get to, familiarize ourselves as receivers with Devin as a quarterback. His cadence is different, the way he makes his calls, everything's just a little different. So just familiarizing ourselves a little bit with that was good. I think, when you have pros and you have people who prepare week in and week out as if they're going to be starters, as if they're going to be the player, I think that, whenever that transition was to happen, Devin would have stepped in and been ready to play.
Could be more opportunity Friday night for Carnell Tate. I know, Ohio State receivers have kind of jumped on the stage in these bowl games before. What have you seen out of him this past month? What impresses you about Carnell?
I would say the thing that impresses me about Carnell is just the way he approaches the game, his knowledge of the game, his understanding of defenses, understanding of plays, and the ability to recollect, different coaching points and transfer that to the field. As a pro, that's a big mark, and someone who's ready for the big stage. He does that well. He does that with the best of them. So his ability to do all those things, as well as his playmaking ability, puts him in a special category to be a very special player. And that, along with his hard work, his tenacity, I think it's a testament to his family and those who raised him, who poured into him, and I think that he's going to have a great career.